Here's the thing. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
They caught my wife, and they sold her, but I don't know who to.
That means we visit every plantation until we find them.
Ralph's gone to hero's duty?
Howdy, and welcome to this week's episode of From the Cinema. I'm your rough and rowdy host, Alex Dodson. This weekend at the Johnson Center Cinema, the Office of Student Involvement will be screening Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained and Disney's Wreck-It Ralph. On the surface, these films appear to have nothing in common. Django Unchained is a slavery-driven Western film, while Wreck-It Ralph is an animated video game homage. However, both of these films follow the hero's journey of redemption and overcoming oppressing stereotypes that both our protagonists were born into. Django Unchained tells the tale of a slave named Django, and by the way, the D is silent, who is freed by a bounty hunter named Dr. King Schultz. Schultz masquerades as a dentist, but in reality kills people for money. As he says in the film, the bigger the baddie, the bigger the reward. Schultz frees the slave and hires him as a partner. Django is then trained in the ways of bounty hunting and helps Schultz take down a particularly evil pair of slave overseers named the Brittle Brothers. For Django's services, Schultz agrees to help Django rescue his wife from the evil plantation owner Calvin Candy. And that, folks, is only the first hour in a 2-hour and 45-minute movie. Reportedly at a length of almost 4 hours in its initial cut, writer-director Quentin Tarantino had some serious editing to do before the film could be released. Jamie Foxx plays Django, and Christoph Waltz plays Dr. King Schultz. Together, they formed an unstoppable and thoroughly entertaining on-screen duo. Their chemistry was excellent, and they really got to showcase some of Tarantino's signature electric dialogue, particularly earlier on in the film before the guns started blazing. Unchained is a truly incredible movie, with dramatic sequences intercut with some hilarious scenes, eye-popping action, and a soundtrack that only Tarantino could masterfully incorporate into a Western film. Now, as excellent as Django was, you guys should know by now that won't stop me from voicing my negative opinions, of which there are a few. First of all, as entertaining as he was, Christoph Waltz essentially played the same character from Tarantino's last film, Inglourious Basterds. While he was technically a good guy in this one, Waltz's mannerisms were an exact replica of his Nazi secret police character Hans Landa from Bastards. His performance was hyped by fans and critics alike upon the film's release in December, and has continued to bug me to this day. On the flip side, Jamie Foxx has completely been overlooked and been cast in the shadow of Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio's turn as the evil Calvin Candy, and Samuel L. Jackson's house slave, Stephen. Fox was my favorite character and my personal contender for the Best Actor award at the Oscars, despite the fact that he wasn't even nominated. If you stop and think of how a freed slave could have been portrayed in this type of movie, it could have gone one of 3 ways. He could have taken a backseat to his white companion, he could have been unconvincing of once being a slave, or he could have nailed the part and carried the lengthy film on his back like a true artist, leaving the showy parts to his supporting cast. Fox made Django Unchained a great film on a dramatic level, rather than just letting it be a simple popcorn movie. Switching gears now, Wreck-It Ralph was the video game movie that gave away almost all of its video game references in its trailer. This is what we call false advertising. Adults were expecting to see reference after reference of their old beloved video games, as their kids goggled at the pretty colors and beautiful animation. Sadly, the trailer gives away almost all of the cool callbacks to favorites such as Pac-Man, Super Mario Bros., and Sonic. Instead, we get the story of Ralph, a bad guy who doesn't want to be bad anymore. So he leaves his game and goes game hopping, trying to find a game where he can prove that he has what it takes to be a good guy. Of course, hijinks ensue, and Ralph stumbles onto a bigger problem than he could have ever imagined, and it's up to him to fix it. This movie was fairly entertaining and contained some great voice acting. John C. Reilly, a proven dramatic and comedic actor, was the right choice for Ralph, as I could have easily seen the studio go for a bigger name with less talent, like Jack Black. Additionally, as annoying as Sarah Silverman's voice can be in real life, I think she's found a niche for that shrill little girl voice in the animated world. She should stay there. The visuals were on point as well, but I never found myself laughing too much after the first 30 minutes when the movie moved on from video game references to just Ralph's story. Wreck-It Ralph was sweet, but not something I'd be dying to watch again. On the plus side, it had some crazy techno music from Skrillex, so the film is almost worth seeing entirely on that fact alone. Now overall, I would recommend seeing both these films at the JC Cinema. Hopefully I'll see you there. Have a great weekend, my fantastic fans.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.